Oh, so we're for real now.
This is
Updates are in play. Mics are all good. Everything that's good. Well, we have a guest today. We'll let him introduce himself. However he wants to introduce himself today.
Who do you want to be today?
Who do you want to be today?
I'll be Joe the lawyer.
Okay, there we go. Joe the lawyer. Well, welcome, Joe.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, you're going to find out really quick that this is just for fun. We're just having a good time, and we talk a little bit about everything. So we don't miss much. Like right now, we're going to start off. We're going to talk a little bit about Sam's truck, and so tell us about your Toyota starter, Sam.
Well, the thing that's funny, the funniest part about the story is the discovery of this malfunction happened after coming back from a long bike ride. So anyway, I went straight home, and you had already heard. You said that you had heard.
I had a weird noise pulling up. I was like, dude, there's something wrong with your truck.
So I went home. I had some errands to do, but instead of going to do the errands, I decided to go home first and check it out so I wouldn't be stuck in a parking lot somewhere. And lo and behold, I'm glad that I did that, because as soon as I turned that truck off and then tried to turn it back on, I could hear the starter Bendix turning, and it stayed on. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going anywhere. So I ended up calling our local garage to send a tow truck over there. They pick it up, and about an hour later, I'm thinking starter repair, no big deal, and I was wrong. This is no knock against my truck. I still want another one. I just need to make sure that I park money
for the starter repair.
Repair, because right now I'm looking at probably about $1,000 repair, and it's not because of the part; it is the labor. So
they're gonna mine their way to the starter.
So when they told me this, I decided to do a Google search, or I did a YouTube search, and lo and behold, there were several videos on this. Now, the thing that's funny is everybody has sort of a variation of the mining technique to get to the starter. Some were like disconnecting fluid lines, and and the thing is however you decide to do it will either play into your strength as a mechanic or your weakness as a mechanic. So, if you feel okay with purging fluid lines and all that stuff, okay, that's good for you. There are some guys that just don't want to do that. But the thing that never really changed is in these procedures on how to do it, really it was just an argument of 30 minutes here, 45 minutes there. You're still going to be in this truck for at least 4 hours.
When you were on Google, did you see any other complaints out there on it?
No. I did a lot of research.
I'm just trying to save you money, bro.
Yeah. Well, it's
if there's a warranty recall or something of that nature.
Yeah.
What year truck is it?
2007.
Yeah. So
I'm at the point where the people are going, hey, how about another one?
Yeah. Well, you have what, over 230,000 miles on it?
Oh yeah, it's like 2.
Yeah. That's a nice thing about Toyotas, man. My friend
run forever.
My friend has a Tundra that's an 05, and it's like brand new.
Well, the thing is the only time you hear me bitching is when it fucking broke.
Yeah.
But it don't break very often.
Right. That's true.
True.
Well, it's funny because apparently the Toyota people don't work for NASA. Because 60 years in the making, okay? 60 years in the making, they're building up this whole thing about the first female spacewalk. Okay?
Okay, I know where this is
and they get up to the International Space Station, and they decide that they don't fit in the uniform, the suits, to go out walking in the atmosphere in. Now, I know it's not like walking at the mall. I got that. You just don't throw your Skechers on and some yoga pants. But
is this the one that's the all-female?
Yeah, the all-female spacewalk. And they get there. They get this.
Sound almost like it's like the Hawaiian bikini team, only on the moon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking this whole thing through, and I'm like, wait a minute, we have a multi-billion-dollar facility. Actually, my wife's friend is one of the technical advisors for the space simulators, the underwater thing where they do all the space station stuff. You would think somebody in that group would have held up their hand and said, "Hey, do we have suits to fit the women?" I mean, they go through the training, right?
Yep.
They get all physicaled up, ready to go. They get up there and they go, "Oh, we only have one suit, and the other one's the backup." I'm like, wait a minute.
This is about making chicks naked now. That's what this is about.
I'm telling you, I don't understand. I mean, to me, it just sounds funny. First of all, directionally challenged, we can make jokes all day long about it. I mean, this just leaves it wide open.
Oh, sure.
Like, nothing goes with this. I'm not going out there. I'm not going to the universe see me like this.
I don't have a thing to wear. Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
So, I just think it's funny because it's like, you know, of all the problems NASA's had over all these years, okay, you would think that planning wouldn't be one of them. I mean, this is the story that just writes itself. I think it's funny.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Yeah.
Fake news. The headline will be,
yeah,
not enough women are employed at NASA.
Oh, could be. Is a white male.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. We got a theory that was actually ordered and the Amazon truck was pulling up as the rocket was taking off.
Wait! Just as you see that.
So we just know that Amazon now is going to do space delivery service.
Hey, it's probably coming.
They're just looking for a reason to get rockets in Amazon. I mean, you know, you're just sitting there in your front room, you order something, and all of a sudden, parachute over your house, the capsule comes down.
Amazon and Tesla are in talks.
So there you go. You see, so that could be the way of the future. You never know. So Bezos, we get a piece of that action, buddy. We brought it to you. Okay,
well, right
just
now,
want you to know.
Amazon's just trying to work out the parts where their graphics that go on the side of the rocket. They have to now be able to endure re-entry into the United States.
Oh yeah, there you go.
They keep
ceramic.
burning off.
Yeah,
they keep burning off.
That's too funny.
Nobody says the Amazon rocket's coming anymore. Now it just looks like a plain old rocket.
It's just a meteor falling out of the sky. Can you imagine the liability of that? You're sitting there and you get killed by a blunder.
Well, in that instance, I would think that did the name burn off the rocket?
See, no evidence. You can't prosecute. If the logo don't fit, you must have quit. That's all I can say. You just can't prosecute that. Well, I don't know. Speaking of products, one of our favorite things coming up is Sam Adams is doing a Ruth Bader Ginsburg themed beer.
Yeah, I was.
Now, if this is fake news, I am going to jump off a bridge because I think that is hilarious. It's better than Where's Waldo or Carmen Sandiego. I mean, it's Where is Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Can you find her on a label? I mean, that would be cool.
I don't even realize. I don't even understand what the whole slant was as to even begin to make a project about her.
I think it's because of anything that catches social media and you attach your name to it. It could be the most ridiculous thing in the world. But if it's on some kind of hashtag or a buzz, then you just tag on and you're making money because that's what I think. I just think that's how it runs.
One of the popular isms right now. So
yeah, why not?
Racism.
Yeah, I mean, it makes for great news because, I mean, if you look at the meme explosion over Ruth Bader Ginsburg, damn, there were some funny ones, man. I mean, they had her as...
I have one.
They have her as R2D2. They got her as a trash can. I mean, they have her Weekend at Bernie's. They have like 50,000 memes of it. Why wouldn't you, as an advertiser, jump in on that? I would.
And they did, right?
Yeah, they did.
The brew to drink at your Weekend at Bernie's.
There you go. You see?
That's funny.
I think the contest should be if you get the can of beer that has her picture at the bottom, you win something.
Okay.
You talk about something that would sell beer, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you get out of jail free card. Clinton would have to give hers up, but at least you'd be able to get out of jail free. Better yet, what if we just got the gal that got Jesse Smollett off the hook in Chicago?
Okay, all right.
Let's just use that girl.
Is that the Kim Fox?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wasn't she the district attorney?
State district attorney.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know that
for Illinois.
That's the whole. I mean, that's a convoluted mess.
Well, I just keep hearing Jesse's Girl song in the background. You know, Rick Springfield singing Jesse's Girl.
I still think it's an R. Kelly singing "He Wants Jesse's Girl," and Jesse's girl is Kim Fox, or
Yeah.
or whoever it is that's heavily connected politically.
Well,
Don't mess with Obama.
I'm telling you that whole he's got that mad Netflix money now, so he's got Netflix money to spend.
I tell you what, in a serious vein, I remember because I learned about this story through another friend of mine, and I thought it was a joke because he's known for jokes.
Yeah.
Until I saw the source, and then chased it down myself, and realized that, hey, this is for real. And when you start reading into, the disposition of the decision, and then you realize, man, you are not kidding. I mean, there are the lengths that people will use influence to determine a decision,
Right.
and then try to explain it to people, going, hey, it makes sense. This was the only logical.
There's no legal, logical explanation.
Not
this
to
is
that.
This is political theater, guys.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's at its best, and Obama's administration was great at that, and they're continuing to do that on the sidelines, so to speak.
Yes, but it did kind of make me wonder. It was like, man, it was that moment where I realized just how much goes on behind the scenes.
Well, you're talking Chicago. First of all, you're talking Chicago. I mean, basically, that's like land of liberal, do whatever the hell you want to do and get away with it. Because think about it. Rahm Emanuel was part of that administration when it first went into the White House. And their whole thing was no opportunity unused. I mean, he either got huge egg on the face with the big FU, or he's playing a role. He's just doing his job, playing a role of the pissed off mayor of the city of Chicago, because he's got the police union and the cops are pissed. I mean, this guy literally staged this thing, got caught doing it, then threw the cops under the bus on this whole thing. I mean, it's like, it's all racially charged. It's all anti-gay, anti-black, MAGA this. First of all, when we talked about the MAGA, where do you find a MAGA hat in Chicago? Maybe in the gift shop at Trump Tower is the only place you're going to find it. You're not going to find it anywhere else. There's guys on the street not selling that shit. Right. So this guy comes up with this contrived story. Then it comes out that he used it as he was in a contract negotiation, right? Okay, so he had that coming out. Now you've got guilty, 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 guilty. Everybody's saying he's guilty except for the liberal herd. Okay, then you've got this Obama step in. And he's completely exonerated, making the city of Chicago look like bigger fools than they already are. I mean, this is a serious. I think there's something going on here that we are not seeing.
And you take it one step further, right? So you have Smollett's lawyer saying, we're going to sue the city of Chicago for fees and expenses,
right,
for all the trouble that my client went through, which is BS.
Right.
I mean, he's just throwing that out there to the news media for chum so they can chew on it.
Yep.
And then you got, I think, Rahm Emanuel doing the same thing by stepping in and saying, oh, well, we're going to sue Smollett for our fees and expenses. And none of that is going to happen. And in 2 weeks, the media is going to kill the story, and this is all going to go away.
Like a fake tug of war.
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of sets the precedence for any other case that's ever happened.
No, it doesn't. There's a two-tier system of justice, man.
True.
If you're a progressive or a Hillary supporter, you got it made.
That's where I was just going. Basically, you're saying to the world, F you, we're doing it our way. Because if you remember the whole Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton on the plane, complete breach of ethics all the way around there. That went bye-bye.
Even without all the
Comey, Mueller, the whole thing.
Even without all of the details and the commentary you both just added, how you cannot come to that determination just based on, okay, so the beginning of the case is when this case started to build, and it started, you started having evidence show up that made it look like, hey, this is not how he's selling this story. It really went this way.
Mm-hmm.
To suddenly we wake up on Tuesday morning, and the announcement is all charges dropped.
Well, and then you
What
go
the
one step
fuck?
further. The judge seals the case.
Yeah.
Which never happens.
See, the sealing of the case and the forfeiture of the two.
It was only $10,000. That's pocket change.
Oh, don't forget about the community service.
Yeah.
And the community service. Yeah, because
Yeah.
those three things, in the things that I read, everybody brought up those three things. That combination of activities made this a just decision, and I'm like, no, it does not.
So being the guy that you can call me conspiratorial, or you can say that I always push the NLP agenda here, but it seems like to me that's the perfect way to basically say we are going to get what we want no matter what you say.
Well, that's prosecuting somebody beyond the evidence that you have.
Yeah, for sure. So what they do is they just use that as it's useless to resist us. We are going to go this way, and whether you like it or not, I mean, they're really showing you really quick how corrupt they really are. Now, it's either going to work for them or it's going to work completely against them. Now, the problem is going to be the age group that this is going to impact.
Yeah.
Okay, is it the 30-second news person? Is it the 15-second news person? How are they going to take this, and what are they going to do moving forward? Because we're going into 2020 election year,
right?
And we're going to see all kinds of fuckery going on with this stuff.
Yeah, I think this next voting cycle is going to be
it's going to be crazy. So yeah, so anyway, I look at this as like, oh my God, this is not only fake racism, okay, and all the other stuff that went to it, but it's coming from Hollywood though. It really is. If you think about it, he's a Hollywood guy. I mean, you've got what's this? Is his name Jordan Peele?
Oh yeah, that's
from Key and Peele,
yeah,
which is really sad, because I think just in that one statement, it doesn't matter what he meant to say. It was what he said. Whereas now I'm making movies and I can't see myself featuring a white lead actor in any of my movies. He kind of undone everything before everybody before him worked to stop.
Yeah, my question is, a guy like that who's successful, right?
Yeah.
Why would you even go there and alienate any potential customer base?
Right.
I mean, he just basically alienated at least 3/4 of his customer base.
Do you think they do that so they can point at you and say, you see, you're the racist?
I think it fits into that narrative.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to get one of those progressive fake news headlines. And, he knows that any publicity, it goes back to any publicity is quote unquote good publicity, right?
Right.
And his name's going to be out there. Hell, we're talking about him. So
Sure.
I guess he succeeded in some form or fashion.
Yeah, because if you read the story, he basically says, it's not that I dislike white people. It's just that I see myself making movies geared more for the black audience. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought we all so you see a guy like Tyler Perry, okay?
Yeah,
he makes a crap load of movies that anybody can watch. Are they based on Medea or Black Family Life? Sure. But he doesn't stand there and say that. You know what I'm saying?
Based on what he fucking knows.
Yeah, exactly. He basically writes his passion, and he's able to produce that. And I don't have any problem with it. He's one of my favorite guys. His movies are really fun to watch. But you get a young guy like that, which Peele and Key has done some funny stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they have made some of the funniest skits you've ever seen. And for this guy to come out, he's kind of like the Tubbs of Crockett and Tubbs area.
His old Aaron.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, come on, man. I mean, anyway, I just think that's a bad call. It's not good for anybody. You may get the headlines for a little bit, but that stink won't go away.
I don't understand why it even need to be said.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, however he feels about it, if him as a director, he can do whatever the frick he wants.
Yeah.
But do you need to let people know before they come in the door that they have no shot?
You're not welcome here. It's like Joe said just a second ago. I was like, you're not welcome here. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, you're not welcome. Don't even try. It's just like that gal that got up there and says, I don't really care what old white men have to say about my movies.
Yes,
I'm making this. I'd rather have women's opinions. Okay. Again, you've alienated a cash spending consumer.
Well, and I hate to be redundant, but it it flows into politics. Look,
Oh,
the city of San Antonio, right?
Oh yeah.
They have to get their own progressive headline in the fake
Chick-fil-A,
news
yeah.
by banning Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it all has an underlying theme. It seems like right now,
Right.
it's can we grab on to a social justice meme or norm and get us some publicity.
And that's exactly right. You know, because a lot of the knock was, well, they're not open on Sunday. You know, and people eat on Sunday. I was like, really? I mean, come on. I mean, again,
people get fucking haircuts on Sundays too. There's a lot of places you can't go to get haircuts.
that's very true. Yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah. So the whole PC thing it does kind of give you a headache, but I'll tell you, I laugh at it more than anything because I just watch all these fools run around doing foolish things, and they all think they're really doing well. So well that they give each other awards. Okay. And we were just talking yesterday about all the Pulitzer Prizes that go out to these people that have reported on the Mueller case. Okay. So this one here can be like a very sticky, long conversation about that. So we're sitting here saying, okay, so it comes back that there's no collusion. There's no collusion. The other side goes, oh, well, that just can't be true. You can't trust the FBI.
After they've been saying for, what,
8
2
years? Yeah, 8
that
years.
we should trust the FBI.
Yeah. So on some of the legal sides of this thing, I know you have some good opinion on this. Because, you know, when I look at it, I'm going, okay, we've spent over $26 million. There was what? How many indictments? I mean, there's a shitload of indictments that went on this thing.
Right.
I'm thinking of, what's his name, Flynn?
Yeah, General Flynn.
Was Manafort a victim of this?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Manafort,
So
yeah.
I just want to make sure that, and not to speak out of turn, that
right.
You know, somebody went to jail because this report was done, or this investigation was done. These are the people that fell because of it.
Oh yeah.
Well, Manafort though was an idiot, and he was convicted and is looking at 81 months in prison because he committed tax fraud,
right,
foreign lobbying, all stuff unrelated to the campaign.
But because I do Twitter a lot, and these fucking idiots that I listen, I don't listen to them. I just like to hear them squawk. Is everybody who is waiting with bated breath for something to come out about this Mueller report? These people are falling, but not falling for the reasons that they think that this report is going to divulge.
Well, and that goes back to looking at it from the 30,000 foot level, right?
Right.
This whole thing started in the midst of the run up to the campaign.
Uh-huh.
And you have the Obama administration literally weaponizing the CIA, the FBI, 14 other different agencies. And they, honestly, in my opinion, they thought they weren't going to get caught. They thought there was no way in hell MAGA was going to do what it did, that Donald Trump was going to get elected. So they used a counterintelligence investigation through the FBI, which is not in search of a crime. It's in search of foreign entities interfering in some aspect of our government's operation, and use that to target an opposing political campaign, funded nonetheless by a opposing campaign and a fake phony dossier that everybody admits is fake and phony.
Is this a Steele dossier?
Yeah.
Steele, yeah.
And you get that, and I guarantee you, they never thought that Trump would get elected. And when he did, their only option was the nuclear option, which is this investigation. And we're now coming to the end of it. And the question is going to be, is there really a two-tier justice system in the United States?
Mm-hmm.
Or is the light going to be turned back on how we got here, and looking at all the investigators and what they did and why they did it? And to me, that's the interesting question.
That's pretty insightful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I think, and that is the question that the citizens need to have answered.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we don't let.
I'm a citizen, and I want to know.
Yeah, I don't want the pundits doing that for me. That's tax dollars that they've spent. That's laws that they're breaking.
So yeah, so on a at a very basic level, some of the things that I saw on Twitter, that came back from, probably just Joe Citizen, is when the announcement comes out that, Mueller's report contains nothing that even rises to the level of Russian collusion. Now you have these people that, it's a kind of a joking thing to say, but people are like, okay, can I get my money back for this investigation that I had no, people's beliefs didn't think that there was anything going on, but yet you still had to conduct this investigation because a certain demographic within Congress thought something was going on and rose to the level that we need to dump all this money, all these resources to chase this thing that they think is going on.
Well, they had to protect their insurance policy, right?
Right.
I mean, that's what they're trying to do.
Oh,
and after Trump gets elected, they tried their darndest to keep this thing going, to distract from what I think the bigger investigation is going to be,
right.
which is, did a political party weaponize the FBI, the CIA, our government, and try to initially prevent another candidate from getting elected, and secondarily, once the other candidate got elected, to kick him out of office. It was a soft coup.
Yeah, but it really was.
And like you just said, with I think you're 100% correct in your assessment of this, as when something foul gets learned, nobody's going to write about this. Nobody's going to report about, hey, there was shady shit going on in the government. People were making decisions about things they probably should not have been doing. But you'll have some other distracting event, or we just won't report about.
Well, that's what they're doing now.
Yeah,
national security.
Yeah,
So
with the impeachment, you're going to see Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler. They're going to come out with all these investigations. They're talking about doing what has never been done in this country, which is looking at a president's personal business dealings, his bank accounts, his family. They're turning the state of New York on him. They're trying to generate
New Jersey, New York, all of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're trying to generate any type of a headline to distract the 30-second headline
going into
people out there.
As we go into this next campaign cycle.
Yeah, they don't want the truth to come out. They're going to try to drag this on.
Sure. Yeah, they almost pulled this a little too early, if you really want to know the truth. The Mueller report came out way too early.
Yep.
It really did. But I think they found that they ran out of time on that one.
Right.
But what I think is funny about this whole thing is all the people it exposed in the backfill. It exposed basically where Podesta actually is being investigated now with Russian collusion.
Right.
The Clinton campaign can actually be pinned to the collusion.
And all the tangents that come off of just those two entities right there.
Well, and what I love about this whole thing, and this is the interesting thing about the Trump effect, is if you stand there like he does, just broad-shouldered, and you take in all these hits that he takes, right? What it basically does is it starts turning it back to you, and people start going, wait a minute, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? How come you're not? So the whole thing coming out about Biden and his son, when Biden was VP and he goes over to China with his son, and they secure this multi-billion-dollar tech deal with the Chinese.
Right.
I'm like, so all these things that are happening, and that came out of the Pelosi Travelgate thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
So when you start seeing things that come up like that, the problem is these things hit the radar and then they quickly go away because nobody follows them up. Yeah. Now, they overpower you because they own the media.
Right.
And they only air what they want to air. And then when you start doing it independently, and I'm not an Alex Jones fan by any stretch of the world, but when you get a guy like that is living under the First Amendment in the United States of America, raising and spending money to generate his own show, and they basically go on the attack and destroy your ability to do your own show, that tells you a little bit about what's going on with this. And you saw it with Glenn Beck. Because Fox, I was never really a Fox disciple.
Nope.
I always felt Fox tend to be full of shit too.
Yeah.
Well, now it's even more
It's
apparent.
even worse. It's very apparent where we're going with this whole globalization agenda that they've got going on with how you should walk, how you should talk, and how you should act. And it's funny because I sit there and I'm watching all these things bounce back. And I'm seeing a resilience, and a lot of people think I'm crazy, but I'm starting to see a resilience from the middle. And this is where this battle is going to be, is the middle. Because you can only tolerate so much bullshit in your life. There's only so much you're going to put up with. I mean, when you start looking at, let's just jump into AOC for a little bit.
There's where I was going.
So you got okay, so this is a rookie freshman that pitched the perfect shutout yesterday. Dude, the green deal. She gets the green deal, and she's behind it. Everybody's stupid, and she's smart.
Right.
57-0 shutout, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah, but it wasn't fair that
I know.
Mitch McConnell put her bill that she submitted to a vote.
Right.
It's not fair, Ken.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
How did she think it was gonna go?
She thought she had everything going in her corner, dude. I'd like to see some rebuttal from her. I really would.
I don't think she ever thought it was going to see the light of day. It was cannon fodder that was on her website that I think in the political world was taken, and the Republicans thought that, hey, we can make some headway here because she is the darling of the progressive and the left side. They said, okay, let's take it and let's put it up for a vote and let's see where everybody stands.
Expose you for what you really are.
So
Yeah.
Today at lunch, I made this comment to Ken. Because of sort of the voice that Ocasio-Cortez has with some of the populists, and a lot of the populists that's not even eligible to vote.
We should reduce
they're trying to change that.
age.
Yeah.
Yes. Well.
Yeah.
So
because that's what we need.
Exactly.
Where I went with this is her influence.
16-year-olds
she's a
telling us
female,
what to do.
Yada yada yada. Who beat a it was a Republican dude.
But she didn't have enough votes to put in a bucket.
Okay,
Like 12,000 votes or something like that, right?
So, that's right. Yeah.
This is another incumbent not taking somebody seriously and gets his ass handed to him.
Right. So, anyway, she had all of these things that she considers obstacles, and so she's appealing to little girls that yes, you can be whatever it is you want to be. But I equated her to being like sort of a snake charmer. Is you can.
So she looks like a Disney character in real life, okay? Because you remember we were talking about the children that marched into Dianne Feinstein's office.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with this.
Yeah, so she drums up that group because
her little bots.
Yeah, her little bots, but that's her job. You have to understand something. She may not be there for victories, but she's there to catch the imagination of the young people.
Right.
Because you got to remember, their game is a long game. It's not a short game. They can give a shit about, once you're 25 and older, they don't really give a shit about you.
Well,
they're moving everything into this youth movement.
People like Feinstein and the kind of the old guard Democrats who, you kind of want to pat her on the head and send her on her way. But she's somebody that I want to know where she is at all times because I don't know what the fuck she's up to.
Right.
But I want to make sure to keep her in her fucking place.
Sure. Yeah, I just don't know if her current job is the place we want her in, because the problem we're having right now with the Pelosi's and the Feinsteins of the world is that they're trying to stay relevant. Okay? And so they're pandering. I mean, Pelosi pandered to MS-13. Who in their right mind does that?
Well, I like the fact that some Democrats right now are developing a taste for other fucking Democrats.
Right. Yeah. No doubt. That's true. That is so true. So San Francisco is an interesting paradox because they're just about to run everybody out of their city. So you're kind of wondering what are their plans for that city? Because literally they're raising the taxes, or they're changing the laws. You can go there and get murdered by an illegal alien.
Right. It's a homeless sanctuary city.
Yeah, it is. It's homeless. I'll tell you what. I was at dinner with a customer, and we were not too far off of Pier 19. Yeah, I think it was Pier 19. We were down, and you know him, John. We'll just say John. And so when we were sitting outside waiting to go in this restaurant. There was a dude like in a trench coat with some grocery sacks, obviously a homeless guy. We get in the restaurant, we get a table, we sit down. This dude comes in and sits 2 tables over from us, takes off his trench coat, and he is buck ass naked except for the Nikes he's got on.
Oh, so it's a show.
Yeah, so he sits down at the table. Yeah, he sits down at the table naked. And so I'm like, looking, and John's like, yeah, it's San Francisco, dude. That's just the way it is here. So I asked the waiter, I said, dude, is this normal? He goes, oh yeah. It's against the law to be naked in the street, but you can be naked in the building and not have any problems. So I'm like,
I wouldn't eat at that restaurant.
Yeah, I didn't eat at that restaurant. I was like, oh my God. But then again, there's dudes that go to strip clubs to eat a buffet and a steak. So I mean, come on. What's the difference?
Okay, there's no comparison to a naked dude at a restaurant on a business dinner.
Depends on what club you go to, I guess, right? Yeah.
Church has some pretty damn good buffet.
Right. Yeah, there you go. Is that place still open?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. You'd figure that place has been shut down or burned down. But yeah, so you start looking at this whole roll up of this whole progressive movement. And so one of the things we thought was funny, we figured we'd try to help AOC out here. Okay? Because her Green Deal, so there's this interstate bike trail that they're wanting to link with the interstate highway system. It's a 4,000-mile bike trail. You can literally go from the East Coast to the West Coast. Yeah. Because according to her plan, that's where we're all going anyway. Okay? If we're not using unicorns to get from island to island, we're going to be using bicycles to get from state to state.
Part of her plan to
no planes, nothing like that. So we're going to isolate all the remote parts of our country, like Puerto Rico and Hawaii and all the places that you can't get there.
We're going to all become isolationists.
Isolationists again, yeah. So the 4,000-mile interstate bike trail is pretty interesting to me. I think that's kind of something that would be kind of different.
I like I like the concept of the bike trail from if I'm going to be here, I live in the United States, so I want to be able to have access to stuff like that because I like bike riding.
Right. I just look at that as a haven for crime, dude. I honestly, it's like, okay, you're on your bike, okay, and say you want to go a coast to coast bike ride.
Watch out for the bicycle highwaymen.
Yeah, that's exactly. You're gonna have roving bike gangs now. Different bikers. It's gonna be like The Road. You ever seen the movie The Road with Viggo Mortensen? Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be just like that shit. I mean, I'm just trying to get from here to the Stuckies, dude. Leave me alone. But it's just gonna be so weird. So it's just, I don't know. So I don't know. I just look at the way that these people just pull shit off the wall.
Things are gonna start looking like Mad Max on bikes.
I'm telling you. Anyway, it just blows my mind when we sit here and we watch all the stuff that goes on. All I can say is at the end of the day, you just got to find something that's going to make you happy and just turn this shit off and just move on.
Well, I'm going to throw one other little factor in there because, AOC is wanting to waste all our money by rebuilding every single building in the United States with her Green Deal.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that your 4,000-mile bike trail, interstate bike trail, is a waste of taxpayer money.
It is, for sure.
I mean,
doubt.
Seriously.
Yeah,
and to prove the point, let's look at, I was down at the courthouse in one of the fourth largest city in the country. You can figure that out if you're on the podcast. And one of our previous mayors had illustriously decided to turn a quarter of every single lane of traffic in downtown to a bike lane.
This isn't Sylvester. This isn't Sylvester.
No,
Megan.
this is our previous
one. Okay,
mayor.
yeah.
And so you have these bike lanes on every street in downtown, right? And I'm there in rush hour, the prime time. Downtown is bustling. Not a single bike in any one of those lanes.
Yeah.
Not a single bike. And I drove probably 10 city blocks, 13 city blocks. And I saw not one bike. Now, how much money did we spend in taking those lanes up, restriping them? And they have these little barriers that they put in the concrete. Somebody got a big fat contract to do that.
Yes.
I'd like to know who that was because they got paid for nothing.
Yeah, well, that's Houston for you. Yeah, we like to point out the stupidity that goes on in Harris County. Trust me, it's
all right.
It's not beyond that. I have a friend that's I'm not gonna out him in a sense, but he's way up in emergency services, and we were just talking about the Deer Park fire the other day, which has made national news.
Yeah, this a big deal
this company is just might as well just pack up their tents and go away, because they're done. That ITC, I think is the name of the company. I think
ITC,
they got everybody coming after them, and now they were saying, well, we're going to put a ban on consuming fish out of the Houston Ship Channel.
Ooh.
Who in the hell eats fish? Wait a minute. Who in the hell eats fish out of the Houston Ship Channel anyway?
Well, I've driven down those roads. I've seen some dudes drowning baits.
Yeah, but come on.
Do I know that?
There's chemical tankers all over the place. Even just the mere presence of a barge with chemicals doesn't make me want to wet a hook.
Oh my God!
I'll be honest with you, man.
True.
I just pulled a glowing fish out of the channel.
Well, so
here.
when
Five-headed shrimp.
I can't wait to cook it up.
When I first moved here, I admittedly grew up in the Midwest. I knew what flounder was. I just never knew what a flounder looked like alive. So I go to Sabine Lake with a friend of mine, and we're fishing, and I catch a 5-pound flounder. And from what I'm told, that's a big fish.
Yeah.
So when I reel it in, I see 2 eyeballs on one side,
right.
and I flip it over, and I see this, and I'm like, oh, dude, So this guy next to me goes, what are you doing? I says, I ain't eating this. And he goes, well, I'll take it. Oh, sure, you can have it.
It's
so
missing a whole other side.
Yeah. So I gave this guy, apparently my friend told me, you just gave him one of the best meals you can ever give a guy. Couple crabs, couple crawfish, and this guy's set. But what we do have to watch with the Chip Channel is that it is a major estuary that does feed marshlands.
Yeah.
Where we do get food.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, there is some responsibility that has to be in play here. But going back to my friend's story about meeting with the new county judge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the new one?
The new one. Yeah, the new one that knows nothing. Okay, that's the one.
And for the record, just because her name is county judge does not mean she's a lawyer.
Exactly. No, and you're right.
I'm making that disclaimer.
And that's
It
very
just means
true.
She won. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
In Harris County.
Yeah, which I still think was a fixed election, because when you look at 17 seated judges that automatically vaporize
By nearly the same margin.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just not right. But anyway, he's there. So they're talking about this meeting, and it literally was clueless leading to clueless. It was embarrassing. You're talking about a emergency services professional who's been in this industry his entire life. Hazardous material is what he does, and they're sitting in this meeting shaking their head, going, "We're doomed. If something big happened, we're doomed. We're in trouble, because these people have." When you go on feeling and esoterics, not on hard facts,
Right.
you're setting yourself up for some really serious problems down the line. And I guess this just kind of, I mean, everything we've talked about today, is shit that shouldn't even be out there to talk about. Shouldn't even exist. Because it's all just bullshit made up by a political party that is only set on one thing. And that's to fundamentally change America as you know it. And that's sad. That is a really sad thing to sit here and be witness of. Because if you take pride in what this country was built on, it wasn't built on racism. It wasn't built on that.
Right.
But they portray it as that. But what do? They do the same thing. They're just calling you the one that's guilty. So the greatest trick out there is to convince the other side that it's really somebody else that you need to be watching, not them. I don't get it. I really fall all over that one. It never makes any sense to me, because honestly, I really do just want to get along and have fun. I don't look at a lot of the barriers people put out there, but I'm constantly reminded of the barriers.
Yeah,
and that's really frustrating.
There's a lot of people out there that are looking for something to just be pissed off about.
Sure, and they want to guilt you into a response.
Well, the
your compliance
new
is based on
mantra is, right, it's make them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why people are getting attacked with MAGA hats and, all this. They condone that kind of behavior.
Now, do you actually believe that actual MAGA wearing people are actually getting attacked, or do you think they're putting on MAGA hats and breaking out their iPhones and making their own videos of this shit?
I'm sure there's probably a combination.
Yeah, because, I mean, I sit there, and first of all, I have never seen a big dude wearing a MAGA hat get attacked by anybody. Yeah. I've never seen a guy wearing a grunt-style T-shirt and a MAGA hat get attacked by anybody.
Well, everybody's trying to get the viral video, right?
Yeah, but wouldn't you pick on the big guy and let the big guy... Okay, it's like if I give you $5 million to do 3 rounds with Mike Tyson, knowing you're not going to get past the first 30 seconds, would you take the money just to get in the ring with him?
I don't know, man.
I would. I'd let him knock my ass out. I'd walk in there and bap, down. I'd leave. Same principle applies to these people. Why don't they just jump on some big ex-Marine, give him some shit? Let's see how far that goes.
Yeah.
The reason why they do that is because I think they're staging their own shit.
Well, I think there's some legitimate claims out there too, though.
Do you? Like what, a kid?
Yeah, well, look at the DC stuff.
Right.
I mean, I don't think, that's a school, and
Yeah.
they were there.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to buy MAGA hats in the hats in the gift shop. I mean, I don't necessarily think that one was staged, but there are some that are peculiar in that they got the video, right?
So,
good way to say it.
It is, but it's interesting because they knew those kids were going to be there, and they knew that other protest was down the street. They brought the two together.
Well, of course.
That producer brought the two together, so they knew something was going to happen.
You may have something there, but
Yeah.
again, it also goes back to make them uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And unfortunately, that was a Catholic school. It fit the profile, and it was an opportunity for the progressive left to try to make a point. It's just it kind of backfired.
And it for sure did, because the Catholic diocese stepped out against the students.
Yep.
Now they're getting they backtrack that, and they're getting the shit suit out of him by the kid and his lawyer.
Well, look at CNN.
Yeah, CNN's getting hammered for sure.
Just the whole implication of the Catholic school, which you're going to have students that are all waspy white kids who go to a very exclusive, expensive,
which is not fair in a sense, because the Catholic religion has people from all over the world in it. It's one of the
all
largest
face colors.
Yeah,
and creed, yeah.
And so why did they just seek out the pasty faced white kids from Wisconsin?
I have no idea.
There's kids from South America. There's kids from all over the world. When you look at the priests, Catholic churches, a lot of them are El Salvadorian. They're from Philippines.
Yep.
I was around a bunch of old Irish dudes. So.
Right. Well, no, I went to Catholic church myself. I was an altar boy, but we had everybody in that group. It was all inclusive. It wasn't just, so you have to seek that out. Yeah, it is. It is very inclusive.
Although the Pope has some crazy theories out there.
Oh, this new one,
yeah. Well, they're detrimental to their own cause because they're trying to play PC. And when you're raised in a church environment, it's hard to be PC. Now, when I say it's hard to be PC, it's PC defined by a certain group.
Right.
If you're trying to be a decent, upstanding Christian person, that's a whole different story.
Actually, I think this Pope, though, goes beyond PC. He's progressive.
He is. Yeah, you just plant those that you want to make change with. That's how you do that. I mean, everything's become a popularity contest on Instagram and Twitter. Okay, who gets the most followers? I mean, we were talking about this earlier.
Right.
So a lot of these stories, we were talking about a news story that went out this morning, actually went out last night, about Barbara Bush's book being released. And it said in the headline, Trump winning the election caused my heart attack.
Well, don't you think that could potentially be a fake news headline, just like a lot of the other anti-Trump stuff is?
That's what it is. So when you read the story, though, that's not how she said it.
Yeah.
And so that's what we were talking about. But how many times did that thing get shared? It got like
you can't unring the bell.
Yeah, you don't unring that bell.
Well, they bet on that, and that's part of. I guess that goes back to a lot of our conversation today on the political theater that's going on out there.
Sure.
I mean, everybody needs to be aware that the headlines and what you see is not necessarily what there is.
No.
Right.
And it's being used to set the stage for, I agree with you, Sam, that there's going to be a shitstorm of political controversy coming down the road.
Oh, yeah.